What's up, gang? It's Doomver with Look at the Trees, and I thought I would just bullshit with you guys a little bit about mental health and and substance abuse, because those are some things that I went through, and I thought I know it's hard for people to get clean, and I know it's hard for people to go get help with substance abuse. So I thought I'd discuss some things about that. But first, I've been bad at this, so I want to give some shout outs to my friends in the YouTube's community. Let's see. First off, I'll shout out at Lil Rage, at Lil Rage, ETTELILRAGE. They put out some really good content. It's a really kind community there. I would, I'd advise to go subscribe to them. Also, the Uncle Jesus show. Uncle Jesus has been showing me love. I got to show him some love. So go check him out. Esther, the Afro-Humanist. I definitely highly recommend her channel if you are an atheist or you are doubting your religious convictions. You might want to go check her out. And if you're of African descent and you are interested in that type, possibly your heritage from, and how the Christian dominionism from here has leaked in over there, and it's fascinating to watch her shows. She does a lot of live streams and they're very good. Amy Newman, Skeptic and Raining, she does some really good streams about anything from trans issues to religious things, Bible versus creation, or Bible versus evolution, and she'll have big debates and discussions with people on her stream. So it's fun to participate, and she's always kind, and she's been nice to me. So I like to say hi to her. And also Bree from Hive Science. Her channel was once called Brain Bug, and it's now Hive Science, and it's pretty awesome. It's all kinds of scientific information about insects, reptiles, anything. Like, she's really good with her introductions to insects and different life forms that maybe you think are nasty or whatever, but she does a real good job of describing and relaying information about those species of little critters. So I think that's really cool, because I'm an outdoors person, so I like that kind of shit. I wanted to shout out to Oz and Jenna at Tang, the Atheist Network group. They kick a lot of ass over there. Oz has his mental health discussions that he'll talk about every once in a while, and it's hard to share. It's hard to share this shit sometimes. So I think the more of us that come out and discuss it and drag it out into the light, so we can talk to each other about this shit, and it's not stigmatized, and it's not looked down upon. And one final shout out. This is a new person that I just checked out a live stream from him last night, and they seemed pretty rad. So Pocket Locker 86. Yeah. Dude's putting out some cool shit. So he's very science oriented, and yeah. So check those guys out. Those guys, gals, and beyond the binaries. And yeah, give them a thumbs up and a subscription if you can. So okay, I I will start with substance abuse. I was addicted to opiates and crack cocaine for 7+ years. Sorry, that's my refrigerator kicking on and off. Hopefully it doesn't fuck the sound up too bad. But yeah, I was addicted to crack and opiates, which the opiates ranged from um, anything from dirty ass heroin, stamp bags and shit, to it was back when the Oxycontins were not abuse proof, so you could kind of lick the coating off of them and mash them up and snort them, shoot them, whatever the fuck. That was at first like, actually it was the Roxys. If you don't know anything about it, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But Roxy's, Roxy Sets, I believe is what it was called. It was a Percocet, and it was instant release 30 milligram Percocets. We called them IR30s or Roxys or whatever. And there's 15s and 30 milligrams, and they didn't have a coating even on them. You just fucking smash them and snort them, or put them in the spoon and shoot them. So yeah. So I went from using those, which they give you a real good feeling, like a real good fuzzy feeling in your belly. You feel like $1,000,000. You look like shit, and you act like shit, but you feel great. and usually I'd end up doing enough of them where I'd start getting sick and throwing up. And then, but it's not like you think, like you just puke and don't really care about it. Like, you still feel good. Like, it's not the regular, it's not like you're sick and throwing up. Like, you just puke because you've probably ingested too much drugs. But that being said, then once your euphoria and the great feeling starts, it doesn't really wear down, but the euphoria does, and your little upper buzz that you kind of get from it, at least I did, starts to wear down, and then you start nodding out. And if you don't know what nodding out is, it would be me sitting here talking to you, and then pretty soon my head's going to start getting low, and my words are going to start getting slow, and then eventually I'm just going to be sitting there with my head hanging, and your brain don't shut off all the way, so you might just snap back up and right back into a conversation you were having that was maybe 5 minutes ago, and everybody else is not paying attention to you, or they're nodded out, or what the fuck ever. It's a garbage way to live, put it that way. And so I started fucking around with cocaine in order to wake me up from nodding out. So like, I'd start nodding out, and then I would snort a line of cocaine, and it'd wake me up, and then I could do more opiates. So that was my end goal, was to do more opiates. It wasn't really to be awake or to participate in reality or the world. It was so I could do more opiates. So the cocaine evolved into me turning the cocaine into crack, or freebasing. Usually freebasing. Sometimes we would make like legit crack with ammonia and actual chemicals. But like, usually it was just soda, baking soda, water in the right proportions, heat it up, it makes an oily residue, and you scrape that off with a object. We'd use pennies or fucking whatever, and scrape that off. You get your crack, your fucking freebase, whatever, put it in your fucking valve stem that you that's what we use. We use like the little not valve stem, tire pressure gauge, little chrome tube, and yeah, you heat that. Well, chrome tube and shit called Chore Boy. That's basically a fucking scrubby pad, a metal scrubby pad, and you'd have to burn the coating off of it and stick that down in your stem, and then you put your crack on there and hit it with a torch, and off to the fucking races. So that was my game, man. That was what I did. I went hard at that shit for 7 years, going on 8. Uh, lost lost a lot of friends that died. A lot of lost friends that just are still on it. You know, I can't talk to them no more. And that will be part of this discussion, is how I got clean. But I don't want it to sound like I'm bragging, but I want you to know that I had a legitimate problem. Like, I'm not just talking out my ass. And anybody that knows anything about the shit I'm talking about will know by what the fuck I'm saying that I've done it. I've been there. So the crack was to wake me up from nodding out. But then I started really liking that particular type of buzz, the down and then the up, and then the warm fuzzies that it gave me. And also it all tangles in with the mental health, because I was doing this subconsciously to avoid dealing with the problems that I had, you know, my mental problems. I should have been going to get therapy. I should have been getting help that way. And instead I was just numbing myself to the world with opiates and crack. And to give you an idea how much I was doing, like, I had a job at a bar, and me and a couple buddies I worked with at that bar, we all had a problem. And I would get it whenever it was just the 30s, the 30 milligram IRs. IR stands for instant release. I don't know if I specified that. I would take, and this would fucking kill me right now if I did this. Like, I would fall dead on the fucking floor within minutes, probably, if I did the amount I'm about to fucking describe to you. This is how I would, because usually I was here and I work at a city about 30 miles away. So I would usually get my drugs from down there because they're cheaper than up here. So I would go down there and buy however many 30s I could find. And usually me, my buddy, and maybe another buddy, maybe 3 of us combined, that we trusted each other, because junkies will steal shit from each other all the fucking time. We would throw our money together and go get a big bag of pills. Like, it was a cigarette cellophane full of 30s, Oxycontin 80s, whatever we could get. And then Opanas, which is it's a beast all of its own. It's oxymorphone, I believe, which is like a cocktail of Oxycontin, hydrocodone, and morphine, I believe, all in one little horrible package. And eventually we got into those, but like, that was the old shit that was going around. How we got fentanyl now. There was still fentanyl then, and that's another fucked up story. Like, we would get the fentanyl. It came in patches, like you would put on your skin, and to relieve pain. And you know, that's some potent shit. If you got a broken bone or something, you can stick a dermal patch on, and you can soak in enough shit to make a broken bone stop hurting. Like, that's some shit. Well, that wasn't good enough for us, so we would take that, and you'd peel the back off of it like a sticker, and then there was this probably like an 1/8 inch of gel, or maybe a 1/4 inch of gel that would stick up, and that gel would stick to you, and the gel is what had the fentanyl in it. So we would just start peeling chunks of that gel off and chewing it, and it would fucking put you down. Like, you would get the nods right away. Like, it didn't take no time. And you get your crack pipe out and blast a big one and wake back up and do some more of it. And it'd be to the point that you would have to take it out of your mouth and put it down, because you would pass out with it in there and you would fucking die. Like, you would OD. And there was this other junkie kid. If he fucking watches this, he'll know I'm talking about him. A girl OD'd and died on fentanyl patch, abusing it, chewing it, not not stuck on her, but chewing the stuff off the back of it. She died, and he was leaving. He freaked out, and he was leaving. And before he left, he turned around and pulled that little piece of fentanyl out of her mouth, out of her dead ODing mouth, put it in his mouth, and called 911. Thank goodness, good for him. He called 911 for his ODing friend. It was too late. She passed on. But you know, that's something he's got to fucking deal with. You know, but yeah. These days, I stick to the herb. Every once in a while, you'll catch me hitting one because this is hard shit to talk about. It brings back some shitty memories. So, and I'm hoping my shitty experiences can teach you all how to either avoid the shit altogether or get off of it yourself if you're having a problem. Being unprofessional. But yeah, go check out Robert Reed by the way at Gin and Truth. Also a good one. I should have shouted out. Anyhow, onward. So I used herb to help me off of it eventually because yeah, just going off about stories. How I got clean was I basically got fed up with myself. Day to day was not living. Day to day was how am I going to go get that big bag of pills? Because I blew all my money on that bag of pills last night. So now I got to figure out a way to get that pills again. And that leads to I'm from Appalachia. So baby, we will go steal some cars and scrap them. And that led that down that road for a while, stealing cars, going in different fields would have, just farm fields would have an old rusty pile in it, and we would go talk to the farmer. Sometimes we were honest, we would actually go talk to somebody and get it, and we would do a lot of work to drag that thing and cut roots and trees and shit that were growing it out of to move it, drag it onto a trailer, take it to a scrapyard, get $300 maybe, and then we would be off trying to find a bag of pills. And then that degraded to just straight up stealing shit and robbing people to get money to go get a pill. Or worse yet, to split a pill with another one of your junkie buddies. And then you're just maintaining. You're not getting high. You ain't doing shit. You're making your day a little easier, and you're making the addiction subside a little bit, but that's it. And you at that stage, at the maintenance stage, you are ready to rob anyone for anything that you think you can get money out of. At least I was. It turned me into a giant piece of shit, and I'm not proud of those days at all. I stole from friends, family, loved ones. Didn't matter. It turns a weird switch on in your brain, and you will just go do what you got to do to get the shit. So my road to recovery consisted of me becoming fed up with myself. My life was not fun anymore. I was not having fun. I wasn't doing things I enjoyed. I was chasing a bag of drugs around. So I was not functioning very well. I usually didn't have a job. I was usually stealing or doing weird work for some other junkie for pills, but yeah. So the way I got out of, other than being stubborn, I do have a stubborn streak in me, and it helped in this scenario. I got sick of myself. I got sick of chasing a bag of drugs. and I decided to start taking some drastic steps to try to clean up. First of the drastic steps was I took my cell phone and I threw it in a lake. Now you might think, oh, that sounds like a bullshit story, but no, I knew in my mind, I knew if I threw it in the trash or if I put it somewhere where I could recover it, I would more than likely try to recover it and get the numbers out of it to get to talk to my drug dealers again. So I threw it in a lake, so I ruined it and I couldn't get to it. That had all my contacts for my drug dealers in it. So that was a big step. Then I isolated myself, which for mental health purposes ain't that great. But I had a few friends that I knew that were clean that I could talk to. And if I was in trouble, I could talk to them, which that helps a lot. But a lot of it was spent alone, dealing with myself. And then as the sickness wore on, it's like shitty flu symptoms, like being dope sick is. And I started smoking cannabis again. I always smoked it, but until I was bad on pills, then I had no money for no cannabis. I had to get pills. But I returned to cannabis, which was also a good decision. Throwing the phone out, returning to cannabis was a good decision in my situation because, for one, cannabis doesn't fuck with my mental issues in a negative way. So it didn't interfere there. And as far as me being dope sick, it would help take the edge off of that. It's not a miracle drug, or I'm not going to feed you a line of shit that weed cures fucking everything. Like, no. It helped me. It continues to help me. But it gives you the munchies. So I would eat. And that's what I really needed to be doing at that time, was eating, because I had lost a lot of weight. I was down to like $130, $120, and like I usually walk around anywhere from 175 to 180 something, somewhere around in there. So yeah, I started putting weight back on. I started feeling better. I was not talking to the people that were chasing the drugs. And then I ended up getting a girlfriend, and that's always, not always, but it's good when you get, when you feel love from someone else, So that felt good. I ended up breaking up with that girl, whatever. That's how shit goes. But there was a time that I wouldn't be able to handle that very well, and that was because of the mental health problem. Is the borderline personality disorder. You have a lot of black and white thinking. She either loves me or she hates me. She either loves me or she's cheating on me. She either, and you will go and you will do this crazy dance in your head. I shouldn't say crazy. I'm talking about myself, not you. But you do this dance in your head of, but like this binary thinking. It's this or this. It's this or this. You're not seeing nuance. It's 0 or it's 1. It's 0 or it's 1. And there's all the numbers, but you're focusing on 0 and 1 because you've decided that 0 and 1 are the only options. And you get stuck in these crazy thought loops. I said crazy again. You'll have to excuse me. You get caught in these unhealthy thought loops and unhealthy thought patterns that will just bring you back around into your depression. And you will, and at a certain point, I don't want to say that I was enjoying the depression, but it's some weird part of my brain was telling me I deserved it. I deserved to feel like shit. So I'm just getting what I deserve, But it never goes away. Like you've got to go get help. That's the basis of what I'm trying to tell you is you've got to go get help. You've got to seek out counseling from professionals. Like, do not go to a religious person for this shit. Like, if you, I don't want to get super dark. I want to keep shit kind of as vague as I can. But put it this way, if you are suicidal or you have a suicidal child or somebody's displaying suicidal behaviors, and you decide to try to pray for them or yourself instead of going to seek help, your chances of having your chances of not living very long are greatly increased. The chances of your child not living very much longer are greatly increased because you will pray and pray and pray, and that depression will never go away. It might go away for a little. Maybe you'll say a prayer and you'll see a bird fly by and you think that's a sign from the Jeebus, and you'll feel good for a second because you think, he heard it. He's cooking something up. He's going to fix me. It's going to be... No. There's never a fix. You've got to always maintain. You've got to always understand what's going on up here with yourself. And don't project that shit onto others. Understand what's going on with yourself. Because in my condition, I then would like... I don't do it now, but I would like to project that onto someone else. If I see them acting kind of weird, I'll be like, they got BPD. Yeah. BPD too, because they're acting like some shit I would do or something. Yeah, like you'll start trying to diagnose other motherfuckers. Like, that's wrong. Don't do that. Don't self-diagnose. Go get diagnosed. With me, and that's another thing, self-diagnosis is dangerous. You need to go talk to someone to see what you have. To get a diagnosis sometimes will make you just feel better because there's something there at least. There's a reason for the feelings you have other than it's weird dealing with that type of shit. So yeah, go get help from professionals, not from religious assholes that are trying to sell you some snake oil. Like, don't go to them for that. The thing that will help you get better is identifying and understanding what is triggering the behaviors that you are identifying as problematic. You have to take great care in understanding what a trigger looks like. It can be very subtle. Like with me, a good indicator that something's not where it should be is my personal hygiene. My personal hygiene will start slipping. And I'm aware of it. Kind of. Like, it's fucking weird. But yeah, I'll start stinking basically, you know? And it's like, go get a fucking shower, bro. You know, like that's all you gotta do. But like, it's for some reason, it's just like, I just fucking forget to do it. Like, just stop doing it. Like, I don't fully understand it myself. But when I do realize that I'm doing that, I try to, it's hard. But because at that point I am in a depressive state, and I don't realize it. So it may sound like, yeah, dude, just go get a fucking shower. What are you doing, dirtbag? And like, believe me, that shit crosses my mind. And it's not that easy. Like when you're depressed, like sometimes it's just this weight that's keeping you from doing all the regular shit that you should be doing. Like everything's a giant chore, a giant task, when it should just be a shower's 20 minutes. Tops. I got long hair. 20 minutes, man. I'm out of there. But I got long hair and a bad leg in 20 minutes, you know. I can get a shower and it can be done, you know. And for some reason that, you know, and that's just one thing. That's just an indicator that I know if I think because sometimes I think shit's going fine. I think shit's going good, you know? And then I realize, like, fuck, man, I haven't had a shower in 3 days. Something ain't good, you know? So you got to dig into it. And I try to identify your triggers and see if you can roll back the clock a little bit in your brain and see if, like, what was going on that had me upset beforehand, to where, because I was showering up until this point and functioning like a normal adult, and now all of a sudden I fell off, you know, the end there. So that's just one thing I'm hoping it helps somebody, you know. I don't know where I'm at time wise. Really don't give a fuck, because there's no quick